you just really grew your practice. I mean, 37% increase in collections is monster. And so tell me a little bit about that process.
Obviously, it starts usually with either a phone call or online booking. And as soon as we have a new patient who's interested in coming in, if they have insurance, we check to make sure that we're a network so that by the time they come in, we can save some time there. And usually that saves a lot of frustration. And if they're not a network, we offer cleaning and exam for a super reasonable fee. We try to welcome everyone. We try to find reasons to get them to come visit us instead of pushing them away.
One of the other things that I was really impressed by is you're closing in on doubling. So you didn't just double your new patients, you're doubling your Google reviews. Hey, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the owner of SMC National, where we help offices just like yours level the playing field against the big guys out there so you can grow the way that you want. And today I have a special guest, Dr. Dave from right outside of Philly. He's recently doubled his new patients and increased his production and collections by almost 40%. And he is absolutely crushing it. He's done this in just 60 days. This is somebody that has a lot of wisdom in growing his practice in a very short time. And you're going to love this episode. Stay tuned. All right, we are live. This is going to be a fun one. I remember, Dr. David, when you reached out to me, we were on Facebook and we were chatting and you had some different challenges, some things. And you were like, Gary, can you guys help? And I was like, I think so. I hope so. And so we've been working together now for a couple months. And just a couple high level stats. So far, from your new patient lows, you've doubled your new patients. Your collections are up 37%, and you've doubled your Google reviews so far. So that's all really exciting stuff. So I want to talk through that. Doubling new patients is a big deal. And when you grow like that, it doesn't just happen just because of marketing. So tell me a little bit about some of the troubles that you were having marketing wise, like the things that you can share, and then how, the changes that we made that you made in your office, I should say, how that impacted you to help you grow. Hey, sorry for interrupting, but this show is about growing your practice. And the number one thing that I see that dentists aren't doing that can create a huge competitive advantage is patient financing. Our sponsor, Cherry, is amazing at that. And they have been working with a ton of our clients. We've actually seen an average treatment increase from about $1,300 per year up to $3,000 when using Cherry. And it's just an amazing product. It's unlike anything else out there as far as financing goes. Highly recommend. There's special pricing right down below. If you're truly thinking about growing, you have to check out Cherry. Back to the show.
Yeah. So earlier this year, I was having trouble with a platform I was using, basically they weren't constantly keeping me online, and sometimes they would, shut me down for like a week or so at a time, and it was really messing up my new patient flow. And when I tried to, get in touch with that, with that platform and solve the problem, it was really hard to do so. And so I decided that, we should probably just stick to traditional. I wanted to try traditional marketing, meaning like, Google ads and some social media. And, I saw the stuff you were posting online, and I saw your podcast, and I thought, I should give Gary and his team a try. And so we started working together in August. And I think the ads went live closer to like beginning of September. And September's traditionally like, not the best month for dentistry, but it actually ended up being, a pretty decent month.
You had a record. It was a record new patient month. I think it was your highest ever new patient month.
Yeah. And which is, obviously that's huge considering, we all know that September is usually, a slower month. But there were definitely some changes. So just to kind of backtrack a little bit, when I bought the practice a couple years ago, it had 4 ops, and I realized that if we're gonna see, if we're gonna grow and we want to see a lot of new patients, we're gonna have to, build another operatory. And that was something that I actually did a year ago. And my intention was I wanted to keep that operatory for new patients and especially emergencies. I personally love seeing emergencies. I think it's a great practice builder. It's sometimes when you don't have a room dedicated to that, it can be really hard to fit people into the schedule. But I basically have a hygiene schedule like most dentists do, and then I have a treatment schedule for myself, and then we have a separate schedule for new patients, especially if they don't necessarily want to clean, but like they have a specific question, they want to consult about implants, or they're just in pain and they need help with their broken tooth or infected tooth.
We got a goal to get to 10,000 subscribers, and 85% of you are not subscribed to the channel yet. So make it happen. Subscribe. Tell them.
Subscribe.
Good job. Make it happen. So are you doing a lot of same day treatment in that extra op? Is that how you use it?
Yeah, I personally love same day treatment.
Everybody loves same day treatment. The doctors love it. The hygienists love it. The patients.
The patients really love it, especially in my area, because a lot of people here, are busy, they're working class. And so it's a lot for them to constantly have to take off work. So if they're in pain, I can get them in and solve the problem same day. It's a happy patient.
Now, one of the things that you were sharing with me is your hygiene. You're doing same day, and then you were sharing some things about like pictures and also with AI and patient financing. So I know that's a lot, but I kind of want to walk through this patient journey because I think you're a young doctor. You're like getting after it. You just really grew your practice. I mean, 37% increase in collections is monster. And so tell me a little bit about that process, some of those things in there.
Yeah, so obviously it starts usually with either a phone call or online booking. And as soon as we have a new patient who's interested in coming in, we check if they have insurance. We check to make sure that we're a network so that, by the time they come in, we can save some time there. And usually that saves a lot of frustration. And if they're not a network, we offer, a cleaning and exam for a super reasonable fee. We try to welcome everyone. We try to find reasons to get them to come visit us instead of, pushing them away.
I love that you say that because there's a lot of dentists out there that are screening out patients, sometimes unknowingly. So I love that you're doing that.
So then once they're actually in our office, they fill out the paperwork, medical history, and then starts with x-rays. And then I'll come in, I'll take a look, and I basically focus on, first I'll look at the x-rays, and I actually have AI software that helps highlight things. And I'll jot some notes down, and then I'll do the exam. I'll jot some more notes down. And so I try, and when I present treatment, I really try to make sure patients can see what I see. So if it's visible on an x-ray, I want to point it out for them on the x-ray with the AI software.
Are you telling them it's AI caught this too? Do you tell them that the AI did it, or how do you
tell them, sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll just tell them like, hey, like we have really great x-ray software. It helps highlight things so that patients can see what we see. And then I'll do the exam. And if there's something that I see during the exam that's not visible on the x-ray, I'll have my hygienist, or sometimes I'll just do it myself. We take photos. And that way, everything is documented. If the patient has a question, if I want to look back, if insurance, has a question about something, everything is super well documented. It saves us a ton of headaches, and patients are really able to understand their problems. And, I used to get a lot of questions like, hey, doc, I'm not having any pain. Are you sure that there's a cavity on this tooth? Does it really need to be treated? When I show them a picture of what their tooth looks like, usually they don't have questions like that. And a lot of them really love it, and they start to really trust us rather than feel like we're trying to present something that, that they don't believe is truly there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, so the AI, the pictures, so you're like showing them the whole thing. So they're seeing all this treatment that they need. And sometimes that can be scary to the patient because, they're thinking, man, this is going to cost me an arm and a leg. So walk me through how you use patient financing.
So I personally like the treatment plan in a way where I go through everything and then I enter all of it into our practice management software. And our software actually has all of the fees. So depending on what insurance they have, all the fees from their particular insurance company are in the software. And so what we do is we stage it. And then like, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. And then we print it out and we show them what the total amount would be if they go through with all the treatment. But we also tell them, hey, We understand this probably is, a significant number, but we have different payment plan options. Are you interested in hearing about them? Because it can definitely make your treatment much more affordable. And I personally, I try not to talk about the financial aspect of it myself. I focus on the clinical, but I have great treatment planning coordinators.
Give your team the power to be able to have lots of options for them, right?
Yes. And so we don't try to push it on people. We just tell them, hey, this is the situation. This is what needs to be done. We have all these different options. Is there something that you feel like is best for you? Like, out of all this, what are you most interested in? And we try to get a feel for, is this someone who just wants to focus on one specific problem and then we'll deal with the rest later? Or like, hey, I'm here. I haven't been to the dentist in 15 years. I really want a beautiful brand new smile. Like, let's get this done.
That's awesome. Okay. And then one of the other things that I was really impressed by is you're closing in on doubling. So you didn't just double your new patients, you're doubling your Google reviews. You're in a competitive market. And we were talking about some of the different dynamics of that. Tell me a little bit about doubling your Google reviews in 60 days. That's really good.
Yeah. So something that actually you guys really helped me out with during the training, it was part of the training was the fact that we need to basically talk to patients and find out how their experience was. Were they comfortable? Are they happy with how everything's going so far? And if they are, would they be willing to share their experience with others so that they can basically help other patients find a great dentist who can take care of their needs and get them out of pain? So one thing we started doing is if patients let us know that they've had a great experience, they're super happy, they're super comfortable, we have like a little QR code sheet that they can just scan right then and there, and they can leave us a review. We also have software that, like, at the end of the day, usually around like evening time, it'll remind patients like, hey, if you have a minute, kindly leave us a review or give us some feedback, tell us how we can improve. But between those two things, and basically talking to our biggest fans and the patients who really love us, and asking them for referrals and to leave us reviews and to basically spread the word to their loved ones and their friends, we've been able to really, really, really increase our Google review count over the last few months. And I actually think it's really helped us rank as well. I feel like just in general, we've been getting many more phone calls and a lot more activity.
Yeah, Google reviews help everything. Like your team, you get better team members, you get better new patients for marketing. All your marketing works better. You get better patient referrals. I was actually looking at your patient referrals, and your patient referrals are up too. So yeah, it helps everything. The more you get, the better that goes for you, for sure. Now, the other thing that we talked about was you said you worked with a lot of different marketing companies and different systems before, and you said, some good, some bad, just like everything else out there. But there were some specific things that you were like, this is what I really liked about SMC that helped your office and helped you. Would you mind sharing those and kind of how you feel about that?
Yeah. So Taylor, who's been helping me out, and I think she's my account manager. So she's really been able to use different systems on your end to analyze what our front desk does, how they talk to patients. Are patients having their questions answered? Are they being made to feel comfortable on the phone? And so if there's something that we can improve on, Taylor's been really been good about providing like phone call recordings and hitting like key targets. Like, how can I say this? She's been really good about telling us exactly what could be improved, where we missed the target. Did we, not answer something super clearly, or were we a little bit unsure? Were we not offering to get the patient in, ASAP? Although generally we're pretty good about.
So she's just helping you find the problems and then giving you the resources to, like, hey, here's how to fix it to speed your process along.
Yeah. She's been able to identify what we need to do so that we can make more people happy and comfortable about going to the dentist.
100%. Yeah, Taylor's awesome. So yeah, that's great. Well, this has been really good. So last question for you, and we didn't plan this one, but I think you'll have some great advice here. you are a younger dentist and you've, been growing your business. And as you know, like everybody knows, it's hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's not easy. What would be your advice to somebody out there? They just bought a practice, they're seeing their 20 or 40 new patients or whatever they're seeing. And they're like, dude, I got to grow. Like, I got to grow this thing so I can pay the bills. What would be your advice to them to help keep their sanity and get in the right direction?
So, I mean, basically, I think it all starts with clinical skill and truly being able to treat your patients and help them with the things that they need. So, personally, I think the first step would be to get good at extractions and endo, and then eventually ortho and implants. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we have a lot of patients in the world, a lot of people who are just out there who are not necessarily thinking about going to the dentist until there is some sort of problem. And I think that if you'd like to grow your practice, I think a great way to do it is to help people that are, they're in need. They're looking for you. They want the help. They want the treatment. They're already motivated because they want to smile. They want to be out of pain. So I would say, I would focus on the clinical at the very beginning, but then at some point, it's important to be able to have a really, really competent team, because you want to have assistants who are able to kind of read your mind, so to speak. They know what your next step is going to be. You want to have a front desk who can answer the patient's questions and make them feel at ease. And so by having a very well-trained staff, you'll be able to basically perform using your excellent clinical skills. But it all has to come together, because if you're not able to help the patient, there's no point in even marketing. So once you've invested in yourself and you're super comfortable that you can basically do whatever needs to be done, now you need to be surrounded by a great staff who can support you, because without them, without my amazing assistants and hygienists and my manager and front desk, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it. This is 100% a team effort. It starts with a phone call, but then it basically ends with the patient in the chair and with their concerns addressed and a happy patient.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great advice. I often think about restaurants when I think about dentistry, because if you go to a restaurant and you have the best food in the world, which would be like having the most amazing clinician in the world working in a dental practice, but the waiter's rude, they're 20 minutes late, the drinks never come out, but it's the best food in the world, you would say like, man, the food was amazing, but the service was horrible. I'm not going back. And clinical dentistry is the same way. You can be the best clinical dentist in the world, but if no one's answering your phone, you're inside, like everything falls apart. So you have done a great job of getting your team on board, reaching your goals, and piecing this all together really quickly too. They're like, you moved really fast. So great job. Kudos to you. Most people can't do that. They can't handle that many changes, and you did an amazing job. And I just appreciate you coming on. Just as a reminder to everybody, people like Dr. David, he's just like, hey, is this going to help people? And that's why he wants to come on here and share his story, because there's a lot of people who are stuck and they don't know what to do. And so I really appreciate that you would come on, we've talked now for 30 minutes before you even hit record. We talked for a while, and I really appreciate that you're willing to spend that time just to help other people. You don't get anything else out of it. So thank you so much. Amazing job. And I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. For me, that's what makes being a dentist fun. Is I love helping my patients. I want them to be happy. I want them to have a beautiful smile, be out of pain. And I also love helping, my colleagues. I think part of what makes dentistry fun for me is, helping each other, and, anything I can do to help, I'm happy to share. So, Gary, thanks for having me on. This has been awesome.
Thank you, my friend. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the whole podcast. You're truly one of our greatest fans, and we really appreciate you. And we want to give you a $3,000 marketing credit to be used to grow your office. We have the link right down below. We'll meet really quickly. It takes about 15 minutes, and we'll tell you how you can save $3,000 on growing your office. And if you're an existing client, let us know, because this is for new clients, but we have some giveaways for existing clients as well. And it's great. So you'll love it. Thank you so much for listening. We really, really appreciate you.